You don't know me. But I couldn't stop looking at the only man in this room who smiled with his face and looked completely broken in his eyes.
You don't know me.
Come dance with me, just one song. After that, if you still want to be alone, I'll let you go.
Her hand was already reaching for mine before I saw her face. I was standing at the edge of the dance floor at my best friend's wedding, holding a glass of something I wasn't drinking, trying to figure out how soon I could leave without it being obvious. She came out of the crowd like she'd been sent. Dark dress, dark hair, eyes that looked like they'd been laughing all night and crying right before that. "Just one dance," she said. "I don't dance." "Neither do I." She took the glass out of my hand and set it on a table without looking. "That's why it's only one." The band started a slow song. She took my hand. I let her. That was the first song. We didn't sit down for the rest of the night. And I need you to understand. By the time the last song played, I knew things about this woman that her closest friends didn't know. And she knew things about me I'd never said out loud. And we'd built something on a dance floor in 4 hours that most people don't build in 4 years. This is the story of 5 songs. Each one changed my life. Let me back up, but not far, because this story doesn't need 10 years of backstory. It needs one night. My name's Cole Sullivan. I'm 33. I'm a carpenter in Dayton, Ohio. I build things, custom furniture mostly. Bookshelves, tables, mantels, the kind of woodwork that goes into old houses, but the thing that pays the bills? Wedding venues. I build the stages, the arbors, the dance floors. I've built the backdrop for something like 60 weddings in 5 years. I haul lumber in the morning. I frame it, sand it, finish it. And then on the wedding day, I stand in the back and watch strangers dance on the thing I made with my hands. And then I go home alone. 60 weddings. I have never once danced at one. I was at this one because the groom, Tyler Rhodes, has been my best friend since we were 12. I built his whole venue. The arch, the dance floor, the head table. Did it for free. Wouldn't let him pay. Told him the wood was my gift. But there's a thing I haven't told Tyler. A thing I haven't told anyone. And it's the reason I was standing at the edge of the floor trying to leave. Before I tell you the rest of this night, if you've ever been the person standing at the edge of somebody else's happiness, watching from the outside, wondering if it's ever going to be your turn, tap that subscribe button right now, because this story is for you. All right, back to the floor. Song 1. It was something old. Sinatra, maybe. The kind of song that makes people who can't dance look like they can, because all you have to do is hold on and sway. She was a terrible dancer. I mean genuinely bad. She stepped on my feet twice in the first 30 seconds and laughed about it both times. A real laugh, loud, the kind that turns heads. "I warned you," she said. "You said you didn't dance. You didn't say you were dangerous. I'm extremely dangerous. You should be scared." She adjusted her hand on my shoulder. "I'm Hannah. Cole. I know who you are," she said. That stopped me. "Tyler talks about you constantly," she said. "I'm Lauren's college roommate, the perpetually single friend at table 9. She rolled her eyes at the phrase. "I've been seated next to Lauren's divorced uncle all night. He's told me about his boat 4 times. I saw you standing over here, looking exactly as thrilled as I was, and I thought, one dance with somebody who isn't going to tell me about his boat. I don't have a boat. See? We're already ahead." I laughed. I hadn't laughed at a wedding in I don't even know how long. The song ended. She started to pull away. Something in my chest lurched. "One more," I said. She looked at me, surprised, then not surprised. "One more," she said. Song 2. Something faster. The floor filled up around us. We couldn't really dance to this one. Nobody can. At weddings, you just move. But we stayed close, and the talking got easier, the way it does when the music's loud and you have to lean in. She asked me what I did. I told her. She asked me what I'd built here. I told her. The arch, the floor, the table. She looked down at the floor beneath our feet, then back at me. "You built this," she said. "This floor. The one we're standing on. Yeah. You built the most beautiful part of your best friend's wedding, and you were standing in the corner alone." "I build them," I said. "I don't use them." She tilted her head. "Why not?" And here's the thing. I don't know why I told her. I don't tell anyone. But the music was loud, and she was close, and she was looking at me, like the answer actually mattered. And it came out. "My brother got married 4 years ago," I said. "Ryan. He was 2 years younger than me. I was his best man. I built his whole venue too. The arch, the floor, everything. It was the last time I ever danced. I kept my eyes on a spot past her shoulder. He died 2 years later. Car accident. Coming home from a late shift. Black ice on Route 35. Hannah didn't flinch. Didn't say she was sorry. Didn't do the face. She just said, "What song?" "What?" "The last song you danced to. At his wedding." What was it? Nobody had ever asked me that. In 2 years of condolences and casseroles, and people saying he's in a better place, not one person had asked me what song. "The way you look tonight," I said. I danced with his wife, my sister-in-law, Sarah. She picked it because Ryan couldn't carry a tune, but he sang that one in the shower every morning, and she said it was the only song he knew all the words to. Hannah was quiet for a second. "You build wedding venues," she said slowly. "You've built 60 of them, and you never dance because the last time you danced was at your brother's wedding, and if you dance at someone else's, it's like it's not his floor anymore," I said. "Yeah," she nodded, not like she understood, like she knew. "Okay," she said. "Then I need to tell you something before the next song." Song 3. The band slowed it down again. Something by Etta James. The lights went low, and the couples pulled close, and the floor got that wedding glow. That amber, half-drunk, beautiful glow. Hannah put both hands on my shoulders. She was shorter than me. She had to look up. 3 years ago, I was engaged, she said. His name was Will. He was a paramedic. He proposed on a Tuesday because he said he didn't want to wait for a weekend. She almost smiled. We were supposed to get married in October. What happened? He responded to a call in July. House fire. She said it flat. Practiced. The way you say a thing you've said so many times it's lost its edges. He went in. The floor gave. They got him out, but... She shook her head once. 3 days. I stopped moving. The last time I danced, she said, was at the hospital. The last night. They let me put music on my phone and I held his hand, and I swayed next to the bed because he couldn't move, and I couldn't sit still. And I haven't danced since. Not once. Not at a single wedding. I come to all of them. Lauren drags me, and I love her, and I sit at my table, and I clap, and I smile, and I never, ever get on the floor. She looked up at me. Until tonight, she said. I saw you standing there, Cole, and I don't know what it was. You looked like me. You looked like somebody who was here and wasn't here. And I thought, if I'm going to dance again, it has to be with somebody who knows what it costs. We stood there on the dance floor I'd built with my own hands, 2 people who'd each stopped dancing the day they lost the person they loved most, and the song played, and we didn't move, and we didn't let go, and that was its own kind of dancing. We're a mess, she said into my shoulder. Complete disaster, I said. One more song? Yeah, I said. One more. Song 4. The floor was thinning out. It was late now, past 11. The older couples had gone. The drunk couples were at the bar. The serious couples were slow dancing in the corners, with their eyes closed. We were still in the middle. Can I tell you something weird? Hannah said. At this point, go for it. I've seen you before. Not tonight, before. She pulled back enough to look at me. 3 weeks ago, I came to help Lauren with the setup, and you were here, in the barn, building the arch. You had sawdust in your hair, and you were talking to the wood. I don't talk to the wood. You talk to the wood. You said, "Come on, stay with me to a piece of cedar that was splitting." That's not talking. That's carpentry. She grinned. I watched you for 20 minutes. You didn't know I was there. And I thought, I don't know what I thought. Something about the way you touched it. The wood. Like it mattered. Like you were building something for somebody you loved, and not just a client. I didn't say anything. I asked Lauren about you that night, she said. She told me about Ryan. Lauren told you. Lauren told me. Her eyes were steady. She told me you've built 60 venues and never once danced. She told me you wear your brother's cufflinks to every single wedding. She told me you won't take the floor because it's like letting go of him. Hannah's hand moved to my wrist. She touched the cufflink. Ryan's cufflink. Silver. Engraved with his initials. And I thought about Will. And I thought about how I do the same thing. I go to every wedding, and I sit at my table, and I hold on to my grief like it's the last piece of him I've got. She turned the cufflink under her thumb. And I decided, she said, before I walked over to you tonight, I decided that if you said yes to one dance, just one, then maybe I was allowed to stop holding on so tight. Because a man who builds floors he never dances on would understand. She looked up. You said yes, Cole. You said yes, and then you said, one more. 3 times. We've been dancing for an hour and a half, and you haven't let go of my hand once. I looked down. She was right. I hadn't. And then I did the dumbest thing I've done in my entire life. I let go. I stepped back. 1 step. And I watched the light go out of her face like somebody had flipped a switch. I can't do this, I said. Hannah, you came here looking for a man who's ready, and I'm not. I build floors, I don't use them. That's the whole thing. I've been standing at the edge for 2 years because stepping onto the floor means Ryan's really gone. Means the last dance is really the last dance. And I can't. Stop, she said. I stopped. You think I came over here because I'm ready? She laughed. It was not a happy sound. Cole, I haven't danced in 3 years. I wear Will's ring on a chain around my neck. I RSVP'd to this wedding alone for the 6th time in a row. I am the opposite of ready. She took a breath. But I'm here, and so are you. And ready is a lie people tell themselves so they never have to start. She held out her hand. Get back here, she said. I didn't step on your feet 6 times to watch you walk away now. I looked at her hand. I looked at the floor. My floor. The one I'd built for Tyler and Lauren. The same way I'd built one for Ryan and Sarah. The same way I'd built 60 of them for 60 couples while I stood in the back and told myself that building was enough. I took her hand. There, she said softly. Was that so hard? Yes, I said. It was the hardest thing I've done in 2 years. Good, she said. Hard things are the only ones worth doing at weddings. Everything else is just cake. The band started the next song. She didn't move. I didn't move. One more, she said. But this time it wasn't a question. Everyone they've got left, I said. Song 5. This is the one that wrecked me. The band leader leaned into the mic and said they had one more before they closed out the night. And Lauren, the bride, Hannah's best friend, had made a special request for the last dance. The first notes came through the speakers, and my whole body went cold. The Way You Look Tonight, Ryan's song. The one he sang in the shower. The one I'd danced to at his wedding with his wife. The one I hadn't heard played at a wedding since the night before everything was still okay. I stopped, dead on the floor. Hannah felt it. She looked up at me and she saw it. She saw the whole thing on my face, and she knew. This is the song, she whispered. I couldn't speak. I couldn't move. I was standing on a floor I'd built with my own hands, and the song was playing, and I was 26 again, dancing with Sarah. and Ryan was alive, and nothing was broken. Hannah didn't pull me off the floor. She didn't say it was okay. She didn't try to talk it smaller. She stepped closer. She put her hand on my chest. She said, very quietly, "He'd want you to dance." "I know," I said, and my voice broke completely. "I know he would." "Then stay with me. Don't sit down." "Not now. Not on the last one." Across the room I saw Lauren watching us, and I understood. Lauren had picked that song on purpose. She knew about Ryan. She knew what the song meant. She knew Hannah had gone to find me, and she'd put the song at the end of the night like a door she was holding open. I stayed. I danced to my brother's song with a woman who knew exactly what it cost me, on a floor I'd built but never used, and I cried in front of a room full of strangers and I didn't care, and Hannah held on and didn't let go, and when the last note faded out she was still there, still standing, still holding my hand. "We didn't sit down," she said. "No," I said. "We didn't. I don't want to start now." "Neither do I." We left that wedding together. Not in a rush. Not in some dramatic exit. We just walked out side by side, her hand in mine, into a parking lot in Dayton, Ohio at midnight. Two people who'd spent years building walls out of grief and music and empty chairs, and in one night, 5 songs, 4 hours, had taken every single one of them down. I drove her home. We sat in my truck in her driveway for an hour. She told me about Will, the real stuff, the Tuesday proposal, the shower songs he sang too, the way he ate cereal for dinner and called it cooking. I told her about Ryan, the real stuff, the black ice, the phone call, the cufflinks I'd worn to every wedding since, because taking them off felt like leaving him behind. "You don't have to take them off," she said, touching the silver at my wrist. "You just have to stop standing at the edge." We didn't rush. After a night like that, you don't rush. You've already said the hardest things. Rushing the easy ones would be an insult. But we didn't sit down either. Not once. First week, she came to my workshop, watched me build, brought coffee. Black, no sugar, she'd asked Tyler. She sat on a sawhorse and read while I worked. And the silence between us was the kind that means somebody's staying, not leaving. One evening that week, she reached for my wrist while I was setting down a mug. She turned the cufflink in the light. "RS," she read. "Ryan Sullivan." "Yeah. There's something on the other side." She turned it over. I'd never shown anyone the other side. On the back, in Ryan's scratched handwriting, he'd done it himself with a pocket knife the night before his wedding, half drunk, grinning. It said, "Dance, you coward." Hannah read it. "Read it again." Then she looked up at me, and her eyes were full and fierce. "Your brother engraved dance, you coward, on the cufflinks you wear to every wedding where you refuse to dance." "Yeah," I said. "He was kind of a jerk about it. He was right about it." She held my wrist. "And you knew. You've known for 2 years. You've been wearing his answer on your sleeve every time you stood at the edge." I didn't have anything to say to that. She was right. Ryan had told me, in his own handwriting, scratched into silver with a pocket knife, exactly what to do. And I'd worn his words to 60 weddings without doing the thing they said. Until her. First month, I built her a bookshelf. She hadn't asked. Her apartment had books in stacks on the floor. She was the kind of person who'd buy 10 before she shelved one. I measured the wall while she was at work, built it in the shop, and installed it on a Sunday morning. I want to tell you about building that shelf, because it matters. I was in the shop at midnight the Saturday before, sanding the last panel, and I did something I've never done on a client piece. I carved something into the back board, the part that goes flat against the wall, the part nobody ever sees. 5 words, in small letters, with a chisel. She asked for one dance. I don't know why. I just needed it to be in the woods somewhere, like a date carved in a cornerstone. The night this started. She came home that Sunday and stood in her living room doorway for a full minute without speaking. "You built me a bookshelf," she said. "Your books were on the floor. You noticed my books were on the floor, and you built me a bookshelf. Yeah, that's what I did." She walked up to it, ran her fingers along the edge, the way I'd watched her run her fingers along the cufflink, feeling the grain. "It's beautiful," she said. "It's the most beautiful thing anyone's ever given me." She didn't know about the inscription. She wouldn't, for a long time. Not until we moved in together and had to take it off the wall, and there it was on the back. 5 words in the wood. And she sat on the floor of the empty apartment and cried over a bookshelf the way some women cry over diamonds. And I knew I'd married the right person. But that was later. That Sunday, she kissed me for the first time, right there, smelling like sawdust and coffee, with a power drill still in my hand. 0 romance. Total perfection. 3rd month, I took her to Ryan's grave. I hadn't been able to go alone in over a year. She drove. She didn't say much. She stood beside me and let me talk to a stone, and didn't rush me, and didn't fill the silence. And when I was done, she put her arm through mine and said, "He sounds like somebody I would have liked." "He would have loved you," I said. "He would have made fun of your dancing, and then danced with you anyway. That seems to run in the family," she said. A week later, she took me to Will's. Different cemetery, different town. 40-minute drive she made in silence, hands tight on the wheel. And I understood, because I'd done the same drive to Ryan's 100 times. The 40 minutes where you rehearse what you're going to say, and then get there, and say none of it. His stone was simple, just his name, the dates, and a line she told me he'd picked himself, years before, like a joke that turned out not to be one. I ran toward it. "He was a paramedic," she said, standing in front of it, with her arms crossed tight. "He always ran toward the fire. Literally, that's what killed him, and it's also what made him Will, and I've never figured out how to be angry about the same thing I loved." I didn't say anything. I just stood beside her the way she'd stood beside me. After a while she said, "I've never brought anyone here. I know. I'm bringing you because I need Will to know I'm not replacing him." Her voice cracked. "I need him to know that the man I'm falling for builds things instead of running into them. And that's not a betrayal. It's different. It's the other kind of brave. The slow kind." She looked at me, and her face was a mess, and she was the most beautiful person I'd ever seen. "Am I?" I said. "The man you're falling for? Cole, I danced with you for 4 hours. I haven't danced in 3 years. What exactly do you think is happening here?" Fair point. 6 months in, Sarah, Ryan's widow, met Hannah for the first time at a Sunday dinner. I was nervous about it in a way I couldn't explain, like introducing 2 halves of myself that I'd kept in separate rooms. Sarah watched us all evening, the way Hannah touched my arm without thinking, the way I leaned toward her when she talked. After dinner, Sarah pulled me aside in the kitchen. Her eyes were red. "She's it," Sarah said. "Isn't she?" "Yeah," I said. "I think she is. Ryan would be so mad at you for waiting this long." She laughed through the tears. He'd say, "Cole, you absolute idiot. You built 60 floors and never danced on one." She hugged me, hard. "Dance on the floors, Cole. Stop building them for everyone else." We got married the following fall. I built the venue. Obviously. I built the arch and the floor, and the head table. And this time, when the music started, I didn't stand at the edge. I walked to the center of the floor I'd made with my own hands, and I took my wife's hand, and we danced. The first song was "The Way You Look Tonight." Hannah picked it. She said Ryan should be at our wedding too, and the only way she knew to bring him was the song he sang in the shower every morning. I wore his cufflinks. She wore a locket with Will's photo inside her bouquet. Not hidden, not displayed, just carried. The way you carry the people who got you to the dance floor, even though they couldn't stay. Tyler was my best man. He stood up at the reception and said, I've known Cole Sullivan since we were 12, and for the last 5 years, I've watched him build the most beautiful dance floors in Ohio, and then stand in the back like he didn't deserve to use them. He built mine. He built half of Dayton's. He built 60 of them, and every single one was really for the same person. He looked at Hannah. He just didn't know her name yet, Lauren cried. Tyler cried. I cried. Hannah held my hand under the table and squeezed once, hard, the way she'd squeezed it the first night on the floor. The squeeze that means I'm here, don't let go. We danced every song, every single one. The band played till midnight, and we were the last 2 people on the floor, shoes off, half drunk, her head on my chest, swaying to something nobody was playing anymore, just swaying, because stopping felt like sitting down, and we'd made a promise. She said, just one dance, at a wedding on a Saturday night in Dayton, Ohio. Neither of us has sat down since. I build dance floors for a living, 60 of them. 60 stages I sanded and finished, and watched other people use, while I stood in the back with my brother's cufflinks, and my hands in my pockets. I thought building was enough. I thought showing up, putting in the wood, making something beautiful for other people's love. I thought that was the job. It wasn't. The job was never building the floor. The job was getting on it. She asked for one dance. I gave her one. Then one more. Then one more. Then every song the band had left. And then every song after that, for the rest of my life. You don't get that by building. You don't get it by standing at the edge. You get it by saying yes to somebody who's just as scared as you are, and staying on the floor until the music stops. It hasn't stopped yet. I don't think it's going to. If you've ever been the one standing at the edge, watching, building, waiting for permission to step onto the floor, I want to hear about it. Tell me your story down in the comments, and tell me where in the world you're watching from tonight. I read every single one. Somebody wrote in last week from a wedding reception, sitting at a table alone, and I hope with everything I've got, that they got up and danced before the night was over. And before you go, be honest with me. If a stranger walked up to you at a wedding and said, just one dance, would you take their hand? Or would you stay at the edge, where it's safe, where nothing breaks and nothing begins? There's no wrong answer. There's just the floor. If this one got you, tap that like, hit subscribe, turn on the bell. I'm here every single week with a new story about the kind of love that doesn't wait for you to be ready. It just walks up and takes your hand. Get on the floor. I'm glad you're here.